Anthony Albanese has brought in and basically funded a new envoy to the tune of $90 million of taxpayer funding going to address Islamophobia and anti-Semitism. This particular envoy is, her stated goal is to basically stamp it out. And this was her talking just this week about the sort of things she's going after, just to give you an idea.
The world is changing. Indeed, it has changed. And the rapid dissemination of ideas, as the Prime Minister mentioned, through social media, means that anti-Semitic ideas that once took years to spread can instantly be conveyed and absorbed. The pandemic changed our world. Its legacy is a greater capacity to accept conspiracy theories and disinformation over facts and expert opinions.
This is my fear about that particular story. She and these anti-Semitism laws, these Islamophobia laws, I'm not confident that they're actually going to enforce these evenly at all. The way they do these things is they roll it out and then they selectively enforce it. So they'll go after Islamophobia for people that are against the establishment, basically. They'll roll out the anti-Semitism laws against people that are against the establishment, basically. That's my fear. What did you guys think about that particularly?
Well, if they're going to be dealing with it, it should be the Human Rights Commission, but I guess that has demonstrated the last couple of years that they haven't done their job. Yeah, it's just, it does seem crazy. As you said, I think it's more about bringing in further censorship. Like they got rid of, they made it illegal to have the Nazi symbol online and that sort of stuff recently, and now the Islamophobia and anti-Semitism. They're just going to continue to build the censorship, so it gets to a point where you really can't say anything, and it once they get control of the free market, free speech platforms, then it's just going to make it much easier for them to take control.
Here's the thing. How do you define Islamophobia? I mean, the very word Islamophobia was invented in the 1990s in England purely as a way of demonizing anyone who wanted to critique Islam or critique Islamic immigration. It was invented as a propaganda word. Now, Islamophobia literally means fear of Islam. So does that mean, I mean, if you were to take that word literally, does that mean I'm not allowed to suggest that people should be afraid of Islam? Now, that would be a ridiculous thing in a liberal democracy, because people always say things, for example, like, Christianity and religion in general are diseases, they're horrible things. We don't want these things to be too influential in society, and it's their right to do that. Basically, I am very much opposed to any idea of law of some kind of envoy whose job it is to stamp out anti-Semitism and Islamophobia. I'm a supporter of Israel. I've been a very vocal supporter of Israel, but I actually don't want an envoy whose job it is to stamp out anti-Semitism. What I want is people making sure that there's no one out there who is trying to incite violence. And I'm in favor of really gross forms of obscenity being censored. But the moment you start saying things like we've got to censor anti-Semitism, we've got to censor Islamophobia, then activists get into these roles and they start pursuing their agendas. And so, for example, just a few years ago, Sonia Kruger, the morning show presenter, she was hauled before, I think, the New South Wales Anti-Discrimination Tribunal because she said we need to stop further Islamic immigration because it's dangerous. Now, she was making a contribution to a political debate at the time, and that was deemed Islamophobic. So these will all naturally morph, especially the Islamophobia one, that will morph into stopping people from being able to critique Islam as a religion and being able to critique Islamic immigration, Islamic society. And she let the cat out of the bag straight away because she started talking about disinformation, misinformation. Even during the Voice debate, and I'll finish in a second. During the Voice debate, I wrote a piece for the ABC on the Voice, arguing against it. I thought it was a pretty considered piece. They must have thought it was pretty considered. They published it. But I know a guy who told me he wrote into the ABC and complained about all the misinformation in my essay. Thankfully, they didn't pull it down. But during the debate on The Voice, no advocates was accused of spreading disinformation. So you can just see where this is going. It's just going to go to censor speech that is deemed politically inexpedient.
Absolutely, and this is the thing I really